Ever stop to think, just for a sec, how many digital downloads you've done today?
Seriously. That music streaming you're listening to probably, or that app you use to, like, find new podcasts.
Right.
I bet you've encountered a ton of digital products already and not even realized it,
It's true.
Which is exactly what we're diving into today. We're talking all things selling digital products online.
Love it.
And we're using this Oberlaw article as our guide. It's called 11 Best Digital Products to Sell Online 2024. Have you seen this one?
Oh, yeah, definitely. They're part of Shopify, so, when it comes to e-commerce, they're usually in the know.
So whether you're like secretly dreaming of selling online yourself or just want to understand this whole digital product world a bit better,
Club.
yeah, buckle up. This deep dive is going to be good.
It's fascinating stuff. The world of digital products is just exploding right now. It's incredible how much of what used to be a physical thing now has, like, a digital counterpart, or in some cases, completely replaces the need for something physical altogether.
Yeah, which for those of us who haven't been living under a rock for the past, decade, makes a lot of sense.
Right.
I mean, ebooks, online courses, all those graphic design templates that make social media like a little less intimidating.
Yes.
These are things we use all the time.
All the time.
But I'm curious, why are digital products such a big deal now? I mean, the internet's not exactly new.
That's true, but what's really interesting is how selling digital products online really taps into a bunch of huge shifts we're seeing in how we live and work these days.
Okay, I like that.
Well, it goes hand in hand with the rise of online learning, remote work, and, that whole creator economy thing everyone's talking about.
Right.
People just want more flexibility now, not just as, consumers, but as sellers too.
Flexibility to learn what you want, when you want it. Flexibility to work from literally anywhere.
Anywhere.
Flexibility to potentially work less, maybe, if the work you did once continues to, generate that sweet, sweet income.
Exactly. And that potential for passive income is huge for creators. Like, huge draw for people entering this market,
I can imagine.
It's like the article says you create it once, but you can sell it over and over again, forever, theoretically. That kind of scalability is almost impossible with physical products.
Okay. Yeah, I can see the appeal there for sure.
Yeah.
No more shipping cost, no inventory taking up space in your spare bedroom.
Right.
I'm in. Just kidding. Sort of. But, I mean, even with all this good stuff, it can't all be sunshine and roses, right?
Of course not. Of course not. I mean, while there are tons of advantages, like anything, you've got challenges to be aware of.
Okay, so going in with eyes wide open. So what are some of the, downsides or challenges to keep in mind?
Well, for starters, competition, that's a big one.
Makes sense. Tons of other people probably having the same idea.
Right. And with the barrier to entry being lower than ever, there are a lot of people flocking to sell their digital wares.
So how do you stand out in that crowd?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's something we'll definitely be digging into today.
Good, because I need answers.
Yeah.
And then there's also piracy to think about, right?
Yes. The dark side of digital products.
People trying to get their hands on your creations without, paying. Not cool.
Unfortunately, it's a real concern. Protecting your intellectual property is so crucial in the digital world. And that's where things like, actually copywriting your work and using watermarks on your stuff comes into play.
So knowledge is power. Knowing those challenges exist is half the battle.
Absolutely.
But let's get into the fun part. What can you actually sell in this digital landscape? I'm ready for ideas.
Well, lucky for us, the article we're looking at today actually gives us a list, 11 different digital products that are apparently killing it this year.
Okay, let's hear it. What's first up on this list of digital delights?
Okay, so first up, we've got the classic online course.
The OG digital product, maybe.
Right. It's huge, and for good reason, I think. People just really love that flexibility to learn new skills or advance their careers, all from, the comfort of their couch.
Yeah, it's like, who doesn't love a good pajama-clad learning session?
Right.
I've actually taken a few online courses myself on things like photography, creative writing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's amazing what's out there. But with so many courses to choose from these days.
So many.
How do you even make yours stand out? How do you get people to choose your photography course over the other, 1,000 out there?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's where niching down becomes, super important, which, thankfully, this article really gets into.
Okay, niching down. Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Basically, instead of, say, a general photography course, maybe you specialize in something like food photography for, like, food bloggers or something.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. So it's about finding that intersection of your expertise and a specific audience's like really specific needs.
Exactly, you got it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So we've got online courses. What's next on the list?
Next up are ebooks,
Classic.
which, they're kind of similar to online courses in a way. You're packaging your knowledge and expertise into a digestible format that people can, consume at their own pace.
Right, but instead of videos and like downloadable worksheets and stuff.
It's all right there in a nice little digital book.
Exactly.
And the article actually gives this great tip about ebooks offer a free chapter as a, like, lead magnet.
Okay, I love a good lead magnet. It's like those try before you buy samples at the grocery store, but for knowledge.
Yes, exactly.
Genius. Okay, so we've got educational products covered. What else is hot in the digital world these days?
Let's see. Well, licensed digital products are huge.
Okay, break that one down for me. What exactly is a licensed digital product?
So think of things like stock photos, music tracks, graphic elements. Basically, you're creating those kinds of assets that other creators can then license and use in their own work.
So you're kind of like the creative supplier to other people's main courses.
I like that, yeah. So that you're providing the ingredients and they're whipping up the final dish.
Exactly. Okay, that makes sense. What's the earning potential like for something like that? Is it one-time sales or...
What's cool about this is that you can actually generate recurring revenue, especially if you get your work out on platforms like, YouTube or even in podcasts.
Okay, how so?
Well, say someone licenses your, like, music track for their YouTube video.
Okay.
They keep using it, you keep earning.
Yeah.
Beautiful, right?
Beautiful. Passive income at its finest. I'm liking this.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next on this list of digital moneymakers?
All right, next up we've got tools and templates.
Ooh, I actually used a ton of templates in my own work.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Oh, things like social media content calendars,
Yeah.
project management trackers, even just like basic checklists to keep me, semi-organized.
Oh, I feel that. Lists are my love language.
Right, but okay, how do you even begin to create a template that people will actually pay for? Like, it seems like there's a template for literally everything already.
It does feel that way sometimes. But I think the key is to really think about the things that make your life easier and then find a way to package that up for others.
Okay, so like, what are the pain points you've encountered and how have you solved them? Because chances are other people are struggling with those same things, right?
Totally. Like maybe it's a meal planning template that saves people hours each week, or a resume template that actually helps them land interviews. The key is to offer a solution in a really easy to use format. Make it a no-brainer.
Right, because who doesn't love a good shortcut?
Exactly.
It's all about value. Okay, we've only got time for one more product from this list before we move on. What else do we have?
Let's talk about memberships. This one's huge right now.
Memberships.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It's a really great way to build that, like, loyal community around your brand.
Okay, so we're talking online communities, probably some kind of exclusive content, maybe perks or early access, things like that.
Exactly. It's all about creating that feeling of being part of something, special.
Oh yeah, that feeling of belonging is huge, especially online. And it's something a lot of people are craving these days.
Totally. It's like we're more connected than ever, but also more isolated in a lot of ways.
So true. It's like this weird paradox.
Right. And memberships tap into that human need for connection.
I like it. Are there any specific membership platforms you recommend or?
The article actually mentions Remote Year as an example.
Oh yeah. Which, side note, ties in perfectly with like everything we've been talking about with remote work and the digital nomad lifestyle.
Totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got tons of options these days. And from a business standpoint, the, recurring revenue model is really attractive.
Yeah, that reliable income stream
Right.
makes a huge difference for creators, for sure. It's like that sense of security that can then fuel even more creativity and like risk-taking.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful cycle when it works.
Okay, so we've got a taste of some seriously popular digital products, online courses, ebooks, all those licensed assets you were talking about, tools and templates, and now memberships.
Heck of variety.
It's overwhelming in the best way. But let's get practical for a second. Say I'm listening to this right now, and I have like this killer idea for a digital product.
Okay, I love it already.
What are the actual like step-by-step things involved in bringing it to life and actually getting it out there into the world? What do I do?
I love that you asked because luckily for us, this article doesn't just leave us hanging with a brain full of ideas.
Because mine's feeling pretty full right now.
Laughs. I hear you. But they actually lay out this really practical 8-step process for actually launching your digital product. And don't worry, we're going to break it all down in a way that won't make your head spin.
Okay, good. Because I think mine's already close to overload. But I'm ready. Hit me with step 1. What do I do first?
First things first, you gotta choose or create that digital product. But the article makes a really, really important point here. Don't overthink it.
Oh, that's easy for you to say. I'm like the queen of overthinking.
Oh, tell me about it. But sometimes, that initial spark of an idea, it's just a starting point.
Okay, so be open to things changing, to the idea evolving.
Exactly. Like, as you do more research, as you start talking to potential customers and stuff, it can morph into something even better than you initially imagined.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so don't get bogged down in perfectionism. Just get started. Solid advice. What about step 2? What comes after you've got that initial idea?
All right, step 2 is where we get a little strategic.
Ooh, I love a good strategy.
Right. So this is all about niching down and really defining that target market, like we were talking about earlier.
Okay, so going narrow and focused, becoming the go-to expert for that specific group of people.
Exactly. And this, I think, is where a lot of creators, especially like in those really crowded markets, can kind of trip up.
How so?
Well, I think it's tempting to think, if I can just reach everyone, I'll make more money.
Right. Cast a wider net, bigger profits.
Right. But it actually often backfires.
Really? Why is that?
Well, when you try to be everything to everyone, you end up being kind of nothing to no one.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
a good way to put it. It's like that old saying, jack of all trades, master of none.
Yes, 100%. Focus is key.
Okay, so niching down is crucial. What's next?
So step 3, this is all about validation.
Validation. What do they mean by that?
It's about making sure that people actually want what you're planning to sell before you spend, months of your life creating it.
Oh, that's smart. Don't waste your time on a product no one's going to buy.
Right. It's like that whole measure twice, cut once thing, but for digital products.
I love that. Okay, so how do you actually validate a digital product idea?
Well, they talk about creating what they call a minimal viable product.
The MVP.
Yes, exactly. Which it sounds kind of intimidating, but it's really not.
Okay, good. Because business jargon sometimes makes my head spin a little.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah.
But it's really just about creating a simplified version of your product to test the waters. Like, let's say you're making that online course about photography, right?
Okay.
Instead of spending like 6 months creating this whole, super comprehensive course, maybe you start with a free webinar or a short email series.
Something to give people a little taste, a little preview.
Exactly.
So they get a sense of your teaching style, the value you provide, all of that.
Yes, it's about getting that feedback early on and using that to kind of shape the final product.
I love that. So it's about dipping your toes in the water instead of like diving head first.
Exactly.
Okay, validation, super important. What's next?
Now, steps 4 and 5, they get into some of the more technical aspects of actually creating the thing, packaging it up. We don't need to get bogged down in all the details right now.
But essentially, it's about choosing the right tools and the software to get it done.
Right. And that will look different for everyone depending on what they're actually selling.
Okay, that makes sense. So like if you're doing an online course versus an ebook versus whatever, you're going to have very different needs.
Exactly. So for now, let's jump to step 6, because this is where it gets really fun.
Okay, what's step 6?
Setting up your online store.
Okay, yes. This is where it gets real.
Right. So the article specifically mentions Shopify, and for good reason.
Oh, yeah. Shopify's like the platform these days, isn't it?
It really is. User-friendly, tons of features, integrates with pretty much everything.
Love that. Are there other platforms you recommend, or is Shopify generally the move?
Shopify is great, but it is important to say that it's not the only option out there. There are tons of other e-commerce platforms, each with their own strengths and weaknesses and price points.
All right, right.
So it's always worth doing a little research to find the one that best fits, your needs and your budget.
Very true. Okay, so we've got our product. We've validated the idea, figured out the tech stuff. We've got our online store up and running. Now what?
Now comes the really fun part.
I'm listening.
Marketing.
Okay, yes. Because you could have the most amazing product in the world.
Doesn't matter if no one knows about it.
Exactly. It's like that old saying, you can lead a horse to water.
Well, you can't make it drink.
Exactly. Okay, so hit me with your best marketing tips. What's working these days?
Well, the article talks about a few key things. Social media marketing, for one.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's a given these days.
Right. They also talk about leveraging those online marketplaces like Etsy, Gumroad,
Okay, yeah.
and then this is a big one, engaging in online communities.
Because that's where your target audience is already hanging out.
Exactly.
Makes sense. What else?
Oh, and they have this bonus tip about affiliate programs, which I thought was really interesting.
Ooh, affiliate programs. Tell me more. I feel like that's something I need to learn more about.
Have you ever, bought something online because a blogger or a YouTuber you follow recommended it?
Oh, all the time.
See? Affiliate marketing in action.
Oh, that's right. I always forget that's what that's called.
But yeah, you're essentially leveraging the trust and the influence of other people to expand your reach.
So you're basically incentivizing others to promote your products for you. Genius.
Exactly. It's a win-win for everyone involved, ideally.
Okay, this is all making so much sense.
Yeah.
But I'm realizing we're running out of time, and we haven't even gotten to step 8 yet.
Don't worry, we'll cover all of that and more in our final part.
Okay, so last time we were on the edge of our seats, step 8 in this digital product launch process. I can barely contain my excitement.
Well, get ready to be underwhelmed because step 8 is less of a thrilling climax and more like, dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
Okay, I can appreciate that. Making sure everything's buttoned up and ready to go.
Exactly. No loose ends. So the article kicks off these final steps by talking about the power of a really good lead magnet.
Lead magnet. Okay, for those of us who dabble in the digital marketing world but aren't quite fluent yet, remind me what a lead magnet is again.
It's basically something super valuable that you're giving away for free, but in exchange for someone's email address.
Ah, okay, I see where you're going with this.
So it could be I don't know, a mini ebook or a checklist or a template even.
Yeah.
Really anything that your ideal customer would be like, oh, I need that.
Right, something that provides immediate value.
Exactly, because it entices them to get on your email list so you can then, nurture those leads and turn them into paying customers eventually.
Ooh, it's all very strategic. I like it. So you're giving away something for free, but the goal is to build that relationship, build that trust. Okay, makes a lot of sense. What's next?
So the next thing the article talks about is this idea of a really strong, unique selling proposition.
A unique selling proposition. Okay, that sounds important, but also kind of like business jargony. Break that down for me. What does that actually mean?
Okay, so it's basically a really clear statement that explains how your product solves a customer's problem or fulfills a need, but in a way that nobody else does.
Okay, so it's not just about what you're selling, but it's that extra layer of why should I choose your product over the other million that are out there?
100%. It's all about differentiation, especially in those crowded markets.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And then what's the last little nugget of wisdom they give us in this step 8?
Okay, last but not least, they recommend considering a money-back guarantee.
Ooh, okay. This one always makes me a little bit nervous as a creator. What if people take advantage?
Totally, that's a valid concern. But the truth is, offering a money-back guarantee can actually increase sales.
Really? How so?
It shows a ton of confidence in your product, and it gives potential customers that extra little nudge to be like, okay, it's fine, I'll try it, because if I hate it, I can just get my money back.
It reduces the risk.
Right. Exactly. Especially with digital products, because you can't exactly return a download.
So true. Okay, this is all making so much sense. I feel like my brain is officially full of good ideas.
Mine too.
We've covered so much ground today. We went from, what even is a digital product to brainstorming different ideas to outlining this whole 8-step process.
That's a lot to take in.
It really is.
Yeah.
But I feel like even if you just took away 2 or 3 things from this conversation, you'd be in such a good place to start.
Absolutely. Even if you just walk away remembering the importance of niching down and validating your idea.
Game changers.
Right. You're already ahead of the game.
So true. As we wrap up this deep dive today, remember, whether you're a seasoned pro or you're just toying with an idea, the world of digital products is here to stay. And it's full of potential.
It's such an exciting time to be a creator.
It really is. So
Yeah.
find that niche, create something incredible, and then don't be afraid to share it with the world. You never know who you might inspire.
Couldn't agree more.
Awesome. Well, that's it for this deep dive. I'm so glad you joined us. See you next time.